Across the ruins of ancient temples and hidden chambers, archaeology has uncovered physical traces of justice older than recorded law. Rings anchored into stone walls, standardized iron shackles buried in empire ruins, and pillory remains scattered beneath city squares. Each of these 5 discoveries confirms that societies enforced rules long before written codes, yet the true rituals and sentences behind these relics often remain unknown. What secrets of ancient justice are still locked within the stones? The first discovery was uncovered in the limestone chambers of Malta's prehistoric temples. Over 5,000 years ago, builders carved stone rings into temple walls at sites such as Hal Saflieni Hypogeum. The rings measure between 20 and 30 centimeters across and are several centimeters deep. Positioned near inner chambers, these features have puzzled archaeologists for decades. Early excavations, conducted from 1909 to 1911 by Sir Themistocles Zammit, describe the rings as possible points for securing limbs, but no written records survive from the era to explain their purpose. Modern research has focused on the material details left behind. Stratigraphic analysis places the rings within original Neolithic construction phases, a placement confirmed by radiocarbon dates from animal bones and organic layers found in the same strata. Microscopic scanning and 3D laser modeling, carried out by the University of Malta in the 2020s, reveal abrasion patterns consistent with repeated contact from rope or leather. Tool marks from flint chisels remain visible along the edges, suggesting deliberate, skilled craftsmanship. Debate continues among specialists. Some, including University of Malta archaeologist Ruben Grima, argue that the ring's placement within ceremonial areas points to ritual uses, perhaps to bind participants or objects during temple rites. Others note that the wear patterns could indicate short-term restraint, possibly as a form of social control. Grima summarizes the uncertainty, stating that stratigraphy places them firmly in temple construction phases, suggesting ceremonial rather than punitive roles, though the wear implies physical enforcement. Without contemporary text or direct evidence, the true function of these stone rings remains unresolved, leaving a silent record of control and ceremony carved into ancient stone. The second discovery, the unmistakable presence of iron shackles, appears across the remains of the Roman Empire, from the military fort at Vindolanda in northern Britain to civic buildings in Syria. In 2014, archaeologists at Vindolanda paused their excavation when a collapsed drain yielded more than 90 iron shackles, each with links measuring 15 to 20 centimeters. The iron and the repeated forms suggest a standard design seen in similar finds from distant provinces. The uniformity in rivet patterns and cuff shapes points to a system where enforcement tools were produced and distributed according to imperial specifications, not local improvisation. Surface corrosion and marks from metal scraping against stone indicate these chains endured long periods of use, likely in holding cells or during forced marches. X-ray fluorescence analysis carried out on-site in difficult weather confirmed a consistent iron composition with minor copper traces, evidence of centralized metallurgy. Mapping the locations of these finds across the empire traces the flow of restraints from urban forums to rural outposts, reinforcing an image of an empire imposing order through tangible, repeatable means. Roman law, such as the Lex Portia, references the use of physical restraint, but precise sentencing procedures remain hidden in the absence of complete legal records. Roman archaeology specialist David Mattingly observes, typology across provinces confirms systemic use, yet procedures remain obscured. While the design of these shackles echoes modern restraints, the legal frameworks and human experience behind them differ sharply. The physical evidence leaves no doubt. The machinery of Roman justice was organized and far-reaching. The third discovery lies beneath the cobblestones of medieval market towns. In the heart of places like York, archaeologists have uncovered stone bases and timber post holes, each about a meter across, set directly into the fabric of public squares. These remains once anchored the Pillory, a punishment device designed for maximum visibility. Court records from the 14th century describe offenders being locked into these structures in St. Sampson Square, surrounded by crowds trading goods and gossip. The 1989 find, catalogued as SF89-456, was excavated just steps from the old Guildhall, its post hole still ringed with iron fragments and compacted earth. Coins and pottery from the same layer date the installation to between the 12th and 16th centuries, matching the documentary evidence in local court rolls. Procedures for pillory use varied from town to town. Some charters required a few hours of exposure, others demanded days. The pillory's position, always close to the busiest market stalls, turned justice into a public event, reinforcing communal norms as much as punishing the individual. Medieval legal historian Chris Dyer notes that bases in square plans link to communal control, but local variations persist. Archaeology fills gaps left by the written record, confirming that these structures were not isolated curiosities, but a standard part of civic life across England and beyond. Like some historical public sentencings, the pillory relied on deliberate spectacle, but the details, how long, for what crimes, and under whose authority, shifted with each community. If you are enjoying these real historical discoveries so far, consider subscribing to Unfold the Truth. New documentary videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m., so you never miss the next uncovering from our ancient past. The fourth discovery lies deep beneath the volcanic plains of Cappadocia, where the ancient city of Derinkuyu was carved directly into the rock. The underground city is cut into layers of volcanic tuff and extends far beneath the surface. In 1963, a local homeowner broke through a wall while renovating his basement, revealing a passageway that led to a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers extending down 18 levels. Archaeologists soon documented a network stretching more than 20 kilometers, with corridors just wide enough for a single person to pass. What sets Derinkuyu apart are its massive stone doors, circular slabs each weighing up to 500 kilograms, designed to roll into place and seal off entire sections of the underground city. Grooves cut into the floor and walls allowed these doors to be locked from the inside, making escape nearly impossible without cooperation from within. Some chambers measure 3 by 4 meters, with small air shafts bored through the stone to provide ventilation. The engineering suggests not only a concern for safety, but also a deliberate capacity for isolation. Lead excavator O. Aram Mellet described standing in a holding room as a stone door slid into place, and he noted that the mechanism physically enables confinement, yet the purpose lacks confirmation. Confinement was made possible by simple, robust mechanics, even though the original intent is not recorded. No written records explain the original use of these chambers. Some scholars propose they served as storage or as temporary refuge during raids, but the architectural evidence, the narrow entryways, the locking grooves, and the controlled airflow suggests a system capable of holding individuals apart from the community. The architectural features point to design choices that favor separation. Unlike the pillories and chains of previous eras, Derinkuyu's underground cells enforce separation out of sight, using engineered barriers rather than public display. The approach finds superficial echoes in certain modern detention designs, yet the social and legal frameworks that shaped these stone doors remain a mystery. Separation was achieved below ground, out of public view, and its full meaning is still debated by scholars. The final discovery returns to a time before written law, in the wetlands of Bronze Age Britain. In 2017, a series of bronze rings, each measuring between 10 and 15 centimeters across, were unearthed near the central roundhouses of Flag Fen, a settlement dating to 1200 BCE. These rings, looped from bronze rod and found embedded in settlement layers alongside Deverell Rimbury pottery, show subtle grooves on their inner edges. Microscopic analysis of the patina reveals linear wear, suggesting repeated friction from rope or fiber, yet no attachment points or locking mechanisms have been identified, and the ring's surfaces bear no marks of forced opening. Their placement is deliberate. At Flag Fen and comparable sites like Must Farm, rings cluster near communal structures, never in random refuse. Archaeologists have debated their purpose for decades. Some interpret them as ritual offerings, noting their inclusion in watery deposits and their association with other ceremonial objects. Others see a possible role in social control, pointing to their proximity to administrative hubs and the telltale rope wear as evidence of tethering, perhaps people, perhaps animals, perhaps objects of status. Maisie Taylor, a specialist in prehistoric artifacts, observes, proximity to central features suggests control functions, but ritual alternatives persist. Without texts from this era, the ring's true purpose remains elusive. The find, reported under the Treasure Act and rewarded after a lengthy legal process, stands as one of the earliest physical hints that even in pre-literate societies, rules and their enforcement left traces in metal and earth. And the final discovery suggests that even in prehistoric societies, rules were enforced with carefully designed physical systems, yet their exact procedures remain lost to history. Justice leaves marks even when words don't survive. Today, archaeologists still unearth restraints and relics that raise more questions than answers. Our search to understand ancient justice isn't over. It shapes how we judge fairness now. What would future generations find if they uncovered our own systems?